So it's official. The Phoenix Suns have surprised a lot of people and defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round of the playoffs, and the Denver Nuggets have at least surprised me to defeat the Portland Trail Blazers. So that means we're going to get a second round matchup of the Phoenix Suns versus the Denver Nuggets. And I think this is a series that will be pretty close and entertaining. So in today's video, I'll be discussing who I think will win, the Phoenix Suns or the Denver Nuggets. The way it's going to work is I'm going to give some reasons to why Phoenix could win the series and some reasons to why Denver could win the series. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to come to a conclusion to who I think will win the series in general. But before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA content and touch my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and comment on this video to start a conversation with me as I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. To start the video off, I'm going to discuss a reason why Phoenix should win the series. And the first reason definitely has to be the fact that Phoenix is one of the better defensive teams in the league, and they proved it in their first round matchup versus the Lakers. Also in the regular season, Phoenix ranked as a top 5 defense in the NBA, and they're just a great defensively run team, and a lot of that credit should go to their coach in Monty Williams, who might be the coach of the year. In that series versus the Lakers, there was many times where the Lakers struggled to score, and it was because of Phoenix's defense. They were running things like a zone to lock up the paint, and they were double teaming at the perfect time, and they were just hustling for the ball. And when you're facing this Denver Nuggets team that is one of the best offenses in the league, you're definitely gonna need to be a good defensive team, and I see Phoenix simply is that. They have many solid defenders like Jay Crowder, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. Showed in his first round matchup versus the Lakers that he actually is a very good defender. Cameron Johnson's a better defender than I thought, and I would say he's a pretty good one. And Mikal Bridges is probably their best defender, as he's really good at guarding the perimeter. I think he could give Denver some problems. They also match up well with Denver's best players, as they could put Mikal Bridges on Michael Porter Jr. or maybe even Jay Crowder or Michael Porter Jr., but I think they'll put Mikal on him. And I think those guys could do a solid job. And DeAndre Ayton will be defending Nikola Jokic this series. And if I'm being honest, there is no one in the NBA Association who can lock down the Joker. You can only hope to somewhat contain him. But nonetheless, he's going to have a good series. But I do think there's a chance that Ayton could maybe not let Jokic have like an amazing series. Like, he'll still be dominant, but maybe he won't average like 32 points, 10 assists, and all that. But don't get it twisted. Nikola Jokic will be playing amazing in the series regardless of what the Phoenix Suns do. But at the same time, Phoenix is a very good team at running defensive schemes, so I think they would make a pretty good scheme to defend Jokic, and I'd actually trust Phoenix more than any other team that's in the playoffs right now to make a defensive scheme to guard the Nuggets. So I think if they win the series, it's going to be because they played good enough defense to stop the Nuggets from being an amazing offense. The first reason the Denver Nuggets could win this series is the fact that Denver is one of the better offenses in the league. As we know, they have Nikola Jokic, who's the most valuable player in the NBA, as he literally turns this team into an elite offense simply because of the fact that he's such a great post scorer, and he's just fantastic at finding open teammates and setting them up. He's going to be a huge reason why Denver wins this series if they do. And in this series, I don't think DeAndre Ayton will lock him down, because no one can, as I said before, and I expect him to play great. But if Denver wants to win the series, Michael Porter Jr. is going to have to step up and play like an all-star. And in that series versus the Blazers, he had some pretty good games, but he had some pretty bad moments as well. But overall, he played pretty good, I would say. But at the same time, the Blazers were the worst defense in the whole playoffs, so that's the reason why he went out. And Phoenix is going to be putting some good defenders on him, like Mikal Bridges or Jay Crowder, but I think there's a chance that Michael Porter Jr. is just good enough to where the defense won't matter and he'll get buckets regardless. They're going to need a guy like Aaron Gordon to also step up and knock down his open shots, as well as getting like extra buckets at cutting to the rim and finishing at the basket. And he did a good job of that in the Portland series. They also might need a guy like Austin Rivers to step out of nowhere and play good again, like he did in that Portland series where he hit multiple big shots and had multiple big games. They'll probably just need to hit their wide open 3-pointers, because Nikola Jokic will create a lot of them for them. But I expect Denver's offense to be a big reason why they could potentially win the series. If Denver's not scoring the ball at a good rate, they simply won't win the series, because Phoenix is a really good defensive scheme. Any team Nikola Jokic is on is going to be good on offense. So if Denver wins wins the series, it's definitely because their offense was clicking. The second reason the Phoenix Suns can beat the Denver Nuggets is the fact that Denver isn't the only good offensive team in this series, as Phoenix was one of the best offensive teams in the league over the past of the regular season, and there's a team filled with a bunch of players who could score the ball and play a great role. As we know, they have Chris Paul, who's a guy who's always going to get open shots for his teammates, and he has an unstoppable mid-range shot. His shoulder allowed him to not basically hit any threes in that series versus the Lakers, but I still think regardless, Chris Paul will be great. They also have Devin Booker, who showed in that Lakers series that he's not scared of the bright lights, and he showed me that he's a future superstar, and he's a guy who Denver will definitely struggle to defend, since they're probably going to put a guy like Austin Rivers. Actually, I take that back. They might put Aaron Gordon on him, and I actually think Aaron Gordon could do a really good job on Booker, but Booker is a generational scorer. You're not going to be able to lock him down, but I do think Aaron Gordon could have moments where he plays really good defense on him. But nonetheless, Booker's still going to be good. And then alongside their backcourt, they have guys like Jay Crowder, who's a really good shooter. Cameron Johnson's a really good shooter. Cameron Payne's a really good shooter. And in the paint, they have DeAndre Ayton, who in that series versus the Lakers was absolutely dominant. And don't forget Mikal Bridges, who's not only a shooter, but he could drive to the rim and do some other stuff. There will definitely be some moments where Denver struggles to defend the Suns, because even the Lakers, who were the #1 ranked defense in the league, struggled to defend the Suns even when they were healthy. So Denver, who's an average defensive team, definitely will have some issues. And the Phoenix Suns will win the series if they do, because of their offense as well. Their offense needs to be clicking, because Denver's a really good offensive team, and they need to be able to keep up with them on points. The second reason the Denver Nuggets can win the series is simply the fact that in the series, Denver is going to have the best player in the series, and it's not really going to be close, because Nikola Jokic is significantly better than both Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And I think he will be the best player on the court in the series. And when you have the best player on the court, you will always have a chance to win the series. Because as I said, Nikola Jokic is literally unstoppable. Because if you go guard him one-on-one, there's not a single defender in the NBA who could consistently stop him. My best guess for a player who could do that is maybe Joel Embiid, but he's not even in the Western Conference. He's in the East. And Phoenix is going to be putting DeAndre Ayton on him, and Ayton is a very strong and athletic player, but Jokic is just too good for all of that. That's all I'll say. Even if Phoenix tries to double team Jokic, he's arguably the best passer in the NBA, and he's 7 foot, so he'll just see over the defense and find teammates for wide open cuts and layups and wide open 3-pointers that they should hit. I believe if you have a player that is that great, and a player that's that great at getting his teammates open shots and just making the whole team better, you definitely can win the series. If Denver's gonna pull off this crazy upset, well, maybe not crazy, but an upset in general, it's going to be because Nikola Jokic went crazy in the series, and I think there's a legitimate chance that he does go off. The third reason the Phoenix Suns can beat the Denver Nuggets is a reason outside of the Denver Nuggets. We just saw the Phoenix Suns pull off a crazy upset defeating the defending championship Lakers. And I'm a Lakers fan, but I'll admit, yes, Anthony Davis was injured, and I do think if he was healthy, the Lakers would win that series. But nonetheless, Phoenix deserves the credit because they beat a very good team, and it just shows me that they are definitely contenders and they're able to get out the West in that series. Because Phoenix showed a lot of persistence, because there was many times where they could have just rolled over, but they never did, and they always had confidence in that series, and that type of stuff is something that could win you a championship. Phoenix also wasn't a team that was scared of the bright lights at all, and I honestly don't have any worries about their playoff experience anymore. If I'm being honest, they could beat the Lakers. Phoenix can beat anyone in the league. So the fact that they beat the Lakers just shows me that Phoenix is the team to beat right now, and I think that increases the likelihood that they win the series, in my opinion. The third reason the Denver Nuggets could win the series is the fact that although their personnel doesn't make it seem like they would be an amazing defensive team, Denver is actually a pretty solid defensive team. As during the regular season, they were ranked as the 12th best defense, and they were 8th in the league at holding their opponents to least points. And if they want to beat the Suns and their high-powered offense, they're definitely going to have to play some really good defense. And there was at times versus the Blazers where the Nuggets were actually playing some really good defense, and they forced the Blazers to miss a lot of shots a lot of times, and they played really good good defense on Damian Lillard, he simply just made an impossible shot. And although Devin Booker is an amazing player, he's great, don't get me wrong, I don't know if he can make the same impossible shots like Damian Lillard does, like those half-court three-pointers. Maybe he'll surprise me and he'll hit them, but I just haven't seen it as much because Dame is just another breed. But nonetheless, Denver's a really solid defensive team as they have guys like JaMychal Green. Austin Rivers actually played good defense and Lillard was hitting just impossible shots. Paul Millsap's a solid defender. Aaron Gordon's a very good defender and he'll be very important for them. And I think overall they're a really good defensive team and their coach Mike Malone makes pretty good defensive schemes. So I have some faith in their ability to defend the Suns. Denver's better defensive team than I thought, so there could be many moments where they stop Phoenix from scoring. So if Denver wants to win this series, your defense is gonna have to be pretty good. To conclude the video, if I had to predict who I think will win the series, I would put my money on the Phoenix Suns, simply because they just beat the defending championship Lakers, and the Nuggets are a team without their second best player in Jamal Murray. And Phoenix is simply just a more talented team right now, and I think the Suns will win the series in 7 games. I was gonna say 6, but I feel like Nikola Jokic is gonna go crazy, and Michael Porter Jr. might go crazy as well. But if Jamal Murray was healthy, I would choose Denver to win the series in 7 games. But I have to give the Suns credit because they just beat the defending championship Lakers, and it's kind of hard not to choose them in a series like this after an impressive win like that. But I do think the series will be close. You could go either way, I won't judge you, but I think this is going to be a very entertaining series and I can't wait to watch it. Anyways guys, that's it for the video. Let me know who you think is going to win the series, Phoenix or Denver. Drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA content and touch my goal of 1,500 subscribers. And comment on this video, start a conversation with me as I actually do respond to all of my comments. And I'm out.